Round up a posse, it's the Medicare for the Lazy Man podcast, a genetically superior Medicare podcast. And now he might have joined Toastmasters if he weren't so bashful, Medicare expert Doug Jones.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Medicare for the Lazy Man podcast. As you may have surmised, this is your Medicare expert for today, Doug Jones, and I'm here to help you feel really happy about the prospect of enrolling in Medicare at some point in the future. I can help you with that process. I can help you in a couple of ways. One way is that I would encourage you to purchase my book, Medicare for the Lazy Man. Wait for it. 2025. It's here, ladies and gentlemen. In case you didn't hear our last episode, I'm happy to announce that Medicare for the Lazy Man 2025 has hit the stores, and the lines are forming. The people want to get their editions early, and they hopefully will come back often because they're, especially at Amazon, they're several editions. There's a paperback. There's the Kindle ebook, which is, by the way, $4.50 this year. The price was lowered on that. And, of course, the ever-present hardcover edition, which will stand the test of time and will stand up to all the abuse that readers, interested and excited readers, can dish out to it. That's a $25 item this year. But I will tell you this, the knowledge inside that book is really more valuable than any $25 or even $4.50 expenditure can justify, because what you've got is a story of how Medicare can enter your life in a positive way and how you can come out the other side of your Medicare encounter with the best coverage available in the United States at the most reasonable price available. Now, very few people, if any, will share those secrets with you, but I do. I don't even call them secrets. When I am around and I'm ready to give Medicare advice, the cost is paramount. You can have the best coverage at the most reasonable cost that other people will never tell you about. So you're going to find unique and proprietary information in Medicare for the Lazy Man 2025. It's also at Barnes & Noble if you're more of a Barnes & Noble shopper, if you like to avoid Amazon. Amazon has those shopping carts that get used so much the wheels often are, the bearings bind up and the wheels are sideways as you're trying to push that cart down the aisles at Amazon. So some people just like to go to Barnes & Noble, and I recommend that you do that if you want to avoid those abused shopping carts at the Amazon.com website. In any event, we also avoid abused things here around the podcast studios. And one person who doesn't seem to be at all abused is Randy Carson. He is preparing for a fantastic vacation with his family. They're going to be trooping down to the airport in at some point very soon and heading off into the wild blue yonder for a vacation they planned for, I don't know how long, weeks. And you're so excited about it. Tell us all about your vacation, Randy.
Oh, yeah, I'm really excited about it, Doug, because I have to go back to Nebraska, where it'll be about 40 below zero this time of year, and I haven't been back there for, I don't know, 14 years, and I am not used to that stuff anymore. But I'm going to give it my best shot. If you hear about a guy getting off the plane in Omaha, Nebraska, and immediately freezing up and dying on the sidewalk, that'll be me.
Well, planes fly both ways, and if you get off the plane, you find it's not to your liking, you can always turn around and come on back. We'll welcome you back to warm and sunny Arizona.
Oh, and even though I'm looking forward to seeing the family, I'm really I always look forward to getting home.
Yeah.
Meaning Arizona.
I can understand that.
Because of a number of different reasons, but mostly because of the weather. And it's odd because when my family was living back in Omaha and I was working here, over the course of those almost 2 years, I began to think of Arizona as my home. It was weird. It was all, when I was getting on the plane to come back to Arizona, my brain somehow translated that into I'm going home, which is odd because I had only been here for like not quite 2 years.
It was like wishful thinking. What
Yeah,
a
yeah,
wonderful place.
maybe that was, I was just trying to convince myself that someday I wouldn't have to go back to the cold weather.
Well, we've had our place here in Cave Creek, Arizona for about 20 years now, and it's taken that long for the content curator. She doesn't make any decisions quickly or rashly, but the other day she said, you know something, I think maybe we ought to consider just consolidating everything and permanently becoming Arizona residents instead of hanging out for half the year. And
Yeah.
that was like music to my ears. Now, of course, I didn't want to be too sure, so I'm not hanging my head on it yet. But I'm hopeful that in a short time I will be able to say, houses in Illinois
Did
gone,
did you
money
get that
in the
in
bank.
did you get that in writing?
No,
Oh.
that's the next step. That's the next step. And then I want to get it notarized, and then I want to get it sworn as an affidavit, a legal document that cannot be reneged upon. After a couple of years of preparation, I'll have her backed into a corner. She won't be able to change her mind.
Well, take it slow and easy, but it looks like it's going the right direction.
I don't.
I did want to mention something when you mentioned that the 2025 book is out now.
Yes.
I don't know if you heard this, but there's a whole stack of people just banging on the door at the bookstore, like they used to do trying to get Beanie Babies.
Oh yeah. Oh
I
my
mean,
God.
they're
People
just
died. People
yeah, there's
got killed in the
people
crush.
killed trying to get Beanie Babies, and I'm going, well, okay. I know the book is out, and that's probably what's causing it. But geez, people, there's plenty of books to be had, so chill out.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll print more. It's not like we're not going to try to satisfy the demand. It's just that they can't all be printed at once. Those machines work day and night, but they only work at a certain speed if you want print that's legible. So, wait your turn, please, ladies and gentlemen.
I know, I know. Just don't hurt anybody. So anyway, I think we need to. Well, I need to announce my secret letter.
Yeah, but I need to explain why you're getting a secret letter. It's not like when I was a charter member of the Secret Squadron when I was a kid, the show that was sponsored by Ovaltine. And they sent me a ring.
Oh yeah, you got a secret decoder ring, didn't
And
you?
the secret message was always just like in Christmas stories, drink more Ovaltine, that
Yeah,
kind of thing.
drink more Ovaltine.
But here's the deal. We have lots and lots of stories about how Medicare Advantage plans are not the best choice for most Medicare enrollees. And in fact, it's important to warn people away from Medicare Advantage plans because bad things can happen very frequently. Not to everybody, but often enough that it's probably not prudent to tempt fate, I should say. And so I've got a stack of articles here, and they're all lettered from A to Z. And Randy has a list of the alphabet, and he is going to pick a letter from the alphabet, and I'm going to read the corresponding article. So, Randy?
I think do you think maybe from this point forward we ought to have a little bit of letter picking music like da 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 da.
That music has been used, but if there's similar letter picking music, I'm all for it.
Okay, well today
I don't
I'll
wanna-
just
I don't want to use
I'll-
too many quarters to, have
Oh well,
to pay
that's
for
true.
it.
But yeah, you have to pay for the licensing on that.
Oh,
Okay,
boy.
I'll come up with something else.
All right.
Here you go. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
The magic letter is
Yes.
A.
Wow. Now, I know exactly where to find that one. Darn. Okay. That's going to be an easy one. All righty. So I've crossed off the list, the letter A, so that we don't accidentally ever handle that article again. And I've got it right here. And I can see that the content curator has, boy, there's a lot of yellow on this. This must be a pretty
Well,
interesting article.
I was going to point out one thing.
Uh-huh.
In order to match up with the secret letters,
Yes.
I printed a copy of the NATO phonetic alphabet.
Oh, good. I've got one right here.
And
So-
so A would be A like alpha.
Yes, A like alpha, and the letters we've already encountered are B like Bravo, C like Charlie, J like Juliet, M like Mike, R like Romeo, U as in uniform, X as in X-ray, and Y as in Yankee. So those are the ones, if you're keeping track at home, ladies and gentlemen, those are the ones to cross off your NATO phonetic alphabet
Yes,
list.
your NATO, and it's like a card. It's like a game card. It's your NATO phonetic alphabet game card.
We could have a whole podcast just playing games and letting the audience enjoy listening to us vicariously. You think
It's like
anybody?
it's like bingo, except it's not.
Yes, it's really not. So maybe that's not a good idea. So what's the headline for our Medicare Advantage article today? Well, it's Medicare Advantage plans are tightening their belts. Now is the time to switch. And this is from just a couple of months ago in January of 2025. Randy is playing his violin again. Sad, sad music for the victims of Medicare Advantage plans. Rising costs are squeezing many Medicare Advantage insurers, causing them to scale back benefits they used to use to attract members. If you're in an Advantage plan that no longer meets your needs, you can switch through March 31st during the annual Medicare Advantage open enrollment period. Given the many changes to plan designs for 2025, it's a particularly important opportunity this year, meaning more changes and more negative changes are happening this year than ever before. Unlike the fall open enrollment period, this one is only open to those who are already on Medicare Advantage. From January 1st through March 31st, enrollees can switch to another Advantage plan or go back to traditional Medicare and buy a standalone Part D as in drug plan. And also, I'm going to add this to what it just said in the article. You must be able to get a Medicare supplement plan. If you decide to resign from your Medicare Advantage plan and go back to original Medicare Parts A and B, you can get a Part D drug plan without showing evidence of good health, but in many, many places, you have to show evidence of good health in order to qualify to get a Medicare supplement plan. If you don't have a Medicare supplement plan, if all you have is Medicare Parts A and B, two bad things can happen. First of all, if you have any serious medical treatment that's expensive, you're going to be paying 20% of that, and there is no cap on that 20%. A Medicare supplement will cap that percentage for you. The other thing that can happen, and I have had this happen with at least one client of mine, two clients. If you need serious medical treatment and it's not an emergency, then the medical professionals will refuse to treat you because they have no guarantee that you'll be paying the bill. And that has happened, ladies and gentlemen, to people that I personally know. So in order to make sure that you're fully covered, call me or send me an email, and I will make sure that you have the least expensive but most impressive Medicare supplement. Okay, now let's go back to the article. While they've long acted as a draw for new members, ancillary benefits were always relatively limited in nature. Now some have been reduced even more due to cost pressures that the carriers are facing. One example of a plan might still offer a set dollar amount of dental benefit, say $2,000 a year, yet cut the denture coverage from 100% to, let's say, 50%. This came from Diane Omdahl, one of our better sources of Medicare information. Her company, 65 Incorporated, is in Wisconsin. It's an independent Medicare consultancy, and they don't sell Medicare supplements. They don't sell Medicare health insurance. They only advise people. It's like a fee-based advisory service. But remember, what these plans are doing, it's kind of sneaky when they say, oh, yeah, we haven't reduced our dental amount. We'll still give you up to $2,000 in dental benefits. But let's say you need dentures, they might only decide to pay 50% of that. Or let's say you need an implant, they might not cover implants at all. Any number of things that one should ask if one's thinking about getting a Medicare Advantage plan, and the dental benefits are an important part of that. So moving on with the article, those ancillary benefits don't save Advantage enrollees much money anyway. The reason is either due to their limited nature or the limited awareness of them. A lot of people that have Medicare Advantage plans aren't aware that they have ancillary coverages. From 2017 to 2021, Medicare Advantage enrollees paid 9% less out of pocket for eyeglasses than those on traditional Medicare, and 9.3% less for dental visits, yet no less at all for hearing aids. So some of these benefits are not being utilized, and others are just poorly constructed benefits. They're not very generous. In addition to tweaking the supplemental benefits, these plans might make changes to their network of participating doctors or drug coverage that makes them no longer attractive to members. While any benefit changes for the following year should have been outlined in the annual notice of change that participants receive each fall in the mail, many people don't study that annual notice of change. And I'll tell you right now, when you get one of those things, it's like enrolling in law school and somebody hands you law manuals that used to sit on a shelf. They're all dusty. And these things look like legal documents written in the 1500s and, copied by monks. They're very tedious, I would say, to try to understand and comply with. So people often are caught unawares and only become aware of their changes when they try to use their coverage in the new year. And I've had a bunch of clients, even after being warned, call me and say, hey, how come my drug plan is 4 times more expensive than it was last year? And I say to them, I tried to warn you, so let's try to be on the ball for next year because you cannot change in the middle of the year. So you can research other options on the government's Plan Finder tool. That's a link, and we can't actually do hot links in this podcast episode. Many Advantage plans have made adjustments to their drug coverage. Some involve changes to the formulary. That's the list of covered drugs. On top of that, some have added a deductible to their drug coverage or switched from a flat copayment to a co-insurance model in which the enrollees are charged a percentage of the drug price, which can increase the out-of-pocket cost. Patients whose out-of-pocket drug costs reach $2,000 in this year will benefit from the annual spending cap that took effect this year under the Inflation Reduction Act. The $2,000 limit applies across plans. So any amount you accrue under one plan will carry over to the next plan if you decide to switch during the period of time that we're in right now, January through March 31st. Medicare Advantage plans can make changes to their network of participating medical providers at any time during the year. Patients who learn that their doctor is no longer in the network and no longer takes their insurance may want to switch to a plan in which their doctor is still in the network, but they can't just do that willy-nilly. They have to do it during January through March 31st. Conversely, enrollees may want to exit Medicare Advantage altogether and return to traditional Medicare, which has fewer restrictions. Under the traditional Medicare plan, you can visit any doctor in the country that accepts Medicare, and that's like 95% or more. And you generally don't have to get referrals or obtain prior authorization for procedures, as is common under Medicare Advantage. Remember, though, Medicare supplement to layer over the top of your Medicare plan, your Medicare Parts A and B, is a critical part of your Medicare coverage. Another headwind, which business school lingo, another headwind for plans this year is a decline in quality ratings that the government assigns based on factors like customer satisfaction and delivery of preventive care. Only 7 Medicare Advantage plans received the top 5-star rating for 2025 versus 74 plans in 2022. Plans with a higher rating receive quality bonuses from the government, and the loss of stars can lead to a revenue decline. Star ratings are listed in the Plan Finder tool that I referred to earlier as you not being able to get when you're listening to the podcast. Beneficiaries returning to traditional Medicare should keep in mind that access to a Medicare supplement plan is not guaranteed outside of just a few states and a few circumstances. So that means you will be subject to medical underwriting and can be denied a policy or charged more, but I've never seen that happen. It's either yes or no. coverage criteria differ by insurance company. So if you're denied by one, you can certainly try another one. But that's where an agent like me comes in. Before you make any changes or cancel any coverage, what you do is you check with an agent like me to see what your possibilities are, and we make sure that you can get the coverage that you need before we actually go around canceling coverage and applying for new coverages. If Medigap insurance is important to you, and it should be if you're going back to Medicare, regular original Medicare, do not disenroll from your Medicare Advantage plan until you have the confirmation in hand that you will be issued a policy. All right. So with that having been done, we're going to take a little break and listen to what our sponsors are up to. I'm hoping it's something entertaining and fun. So we'll be right back. All righty. The next fun thing we have to do is to check and see what's going on in that new government book, Your Medicare Benefits 2024. I don't know how new it could be if it's got the 2024 on its cover, but I have not had my copy for all that long, and I'd never heard about it in all the other years I've been doing Medicare stuff. So it's got to be new, but I don't know if they're going to come out with a 2025 edition, and I don't know why they would. This book has all the possible things that can happen to you, and it tells you how Medicare will cover those things. So the subject for the day is defibrillators. If you need a defibrillator, listen up, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, Randy has a thought about defibrillators. I'm thinking he wants to get one.
It was my understanding that these were alphabetic.
Ooh, yeah. Here's what
I've been waiting for dancing lessons for oh so many months.
Yes, sir. Well, let me tell you what the item right before defibrillators was. Crutches. The item right before crutches was COVID-19. There was no DA. No item starting with a DA.
Oh, darn it.
So maybe it's is there another name for dancing, like foolishness or?
I have no idea.
How about line dancing? Do they have a special category, line dancing? This could be in the L's, halfway through the book.
I'll look.
Okay.
It could be. I'll look.
All right. Defibrillators, Medicare. I was a little afraid there. Randy was signaling me. I thought maybe he needed a defibrillator because he's headed for Omaha. He's looking for any excuse to not have to get on that airplane. Medicare may cover an implantable automatic defibrillator if you've been diagnosed with heart failure. Part A of Medicare covers the surgery to implant the defibrillator in a hospital inpatient setting. Part B of Medicare covers the surgery if you get it in a hospital outpatient setting. So how about the costs? Well, after you meet the Part B, as in Bravo, deductible, you'll pay 20% of the Medicare approved amount for your doctor's services, unless you have an excellent Medicare supplement plan that I will help you obtain. The Part B deductible also applies to the surgery if you get it in a hospital outpatient setting. If you get the surgery at a hospital outpatient setting, you'll also pay the hospital a copayment, but in most cases, the hospital copayment cannot be more than the Part A hospital deductible, which is $1,672, I believe, for this year. And of course, your Medicare supplement takes that into account. It either covers it, depending on the plan you have, or it will credit you with that amount so that your out-of-pocket costs will be limited to the contractual amount promised for the year. After that, it'll be 100% for everything that you do the rest of the year. For more information about how Medicare is going to treat defibrillators, visit medicare.gov/coverage/defibrillators. Okay. Oh, pretty exciting. We're going to have dental services as our next article. So I can't wait to read about that. Here's something that is either really, really good news or really, really bad news. I don't know what publication this is because I got too excited when I copied it, but it's written by somebody named Kelly Gooch. Sounds like a made-up name to me. And it is a list of the 10 best states and the 10 worst states for women. And I don't know, something. It's I think Randy, if he's listening carefully, is going to discern a pattern here when I get to the list. But it says Massachusetts is the best state for women, while Mississippi ranks as the worst state for women, according to Wallet Hub's 2025 rankings. Wallet Hub is, I'm thinking, has a particular political axe to grind. But let's move on and see what that axe might be. For the rankings that were published March 3rd in Personal Finance, compared the 50 states and District of Columbia across two dimensions: women's economic and social well-being and women's health care and safety. They evaluated these dimensions using 25 metrics ranging from median earnings for female workers to quality of women's hospitals. Each metric was graded on a 100-point scale. Boy, this sounds complicated. I wonder how much the grant writer earned that wrote the application for this government grant. And I wonder further whether we've managed to terminate everybody related with studies like this. I'm hoping that that's going to be the case real soon. So here is a list of the best states for women. Let's see if we can recognize a pattern here. 1, Massachusetts. 2, Minnesota. 3, District of Columbia. New York, Maryland, Maine, Vermont, New Jersey, Washington State, and Hawaii. Now, Randy's going, he's shaking his head. I don't know if that means he hasn't seen the pattern yet or not. Let's go to the worst states and see if we can.
I saw a pattern. Definitely saw a pattern.
Let's go to the worst states for women. These are most horrible places for women to live, and see if we can fill out that pattern. Let's see if the pattern holds true. The most horrible state for women is Mississippi. Oh boy. The second most horrible state for women, and tell this to my relatives, Oklahoma. Arkansas is third. Louisiana, Texas, Alabama, Wyoming, West Virginia, Georgia, and Missouri. I'll tell you right now, there are a lot of women living in all those states, and I don't hear them complaining all that much. So I'm guessing that there is a political bias to this list, to the people who made it up, and I think they're trying to peddle their own view of how things ought to be.
I think there's a severe lean there.
Absolutely.
They're leaning some particular direction. I'm not sure which, but they are definitely on the lean.
They're not leaning in the same direction that Randy and I lean. That's for darn sure. And then I have finally come to the most important document that I have in my stack of content curation articles here. And it is the reason I'm going to announce to the world and to Randy Carson, this is my last podcast episode. We're going to retire the microphone, and we're going to end the podcast on this happy note. I received an email that had to be translated to English, but it basically said, "Congratulations," and this is warming my heart. It's a life-changing piece of correspondence to receive. Congratulations. We are pleased to, well, actually it says congratulation, and it says translate to English right above it. We are pleased to inform you that you have been selected to receive humanitarian and investment funds aimed at supporting the growth of your company, your business, or your investment projects. This selection qualifies you to receive a donation fund of $10,500,000. Please feel free to reply to this email for further details on how to proceed. We look forward to assisting you in achieving your goals. Best regards, and who knows, this is some kind of Frenchy name for Kabir Muchalande Group. A pretty impressive sounding company. So, Randy, I hate to put you out to pasture before your time, but I'm likely to be counting my $10,500,000 for the next, for foreseeable years. So that's my plan anyway. So,
well, I'm just hopeful that works out for you, Doug.
I have my fingers crossed, but as soon as I contact these people, they're going to tell me everything I need to know to collect my money.
Well, is the signature clear on the bottom? Is that a Nigerian prince?
Oh, it's no, that guy died. We heard that guy died.
Oh,
and it was a very unpleasant passing of his spirit up to the wherever he goes, because he was unable to give away his fortune. He tried and tried and tried, but nobody would take it.
I know that somebody gave him a bad rap, and then he couldn't give it away because all he wanted was your checking account number.
Absolutely, and maybe your social security number. There were probably a couple of other requirements, but he wasn't really that demanding, and frankly, nobody would cooperate with him. So anyway, I have hit the nail on the head when it comes to the length of time that we like to waste your time, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to let Randy close it up for today. I'm going to sit here with a big smile on my face. Randy, please take over.
I always wanted to know what a smile looked like from somebody that just got how many millions of dollars?
10 and a half.
$10.5 million.
It looks like this. It looks like the big, giant, toothy grin that I like to
Yes.
display when money is
Oh
falling in
man,
my lip.
I can't wait till that comes in. Let me know when it does because I'll come up and congratulate you at the chip.
Oh, you're just going to grab a handful and run, aren't you?
Alrighty, well, I need to close up shop, and there's a couple, three or four things I always do before I do that. Number one is grab your pen if you want to reach out to the new multi-millionaire Doug Jones waiting for his money to come in. Is it going to come in via FedEx or some other way?
I would hope something faster than FedEx. I'll go to the airport and meet the incoming Nigerian plane or wherever it's coming from,
Okay,
if that's what it takes.
personalized Nigerian.
I want to.
Oh, there you
I want to
go.
cooperate. I want to cooperate, make it
Yeah,
as
yeah.
easy for him as possible.
I get it. Well, you can reach out to Doug at dbj@mlmmailbag.com. He is licensed nationwide in every 50 state. We got maybe 51 sometime.
Well, they had DC on that list of best
Oh,
places for women. So
oh.
go live in DC for a while and see how you like it.
I think I'm passing on that one.
Yeah.
So, and then last, no, certainly not last, but check us out at the new website, MedicareForTheLazyMan.com. Doug has put a lot of work into it, and I kind of like it. And it's bright and shiny, and it smells like a new car. And I love that smell. Ultimately, in your wanderings through the internet, if you could drop a couple reviews for us, we'd certainly appreciate it. Last but certainly not least, thank you. Thank you for joining us today. You could have been anywhere else doing anything else, and you weren't. You chose to spend some quality time with us, but you probably didn't predict how long you would be spending with us. And in case you didn't, you have just spent about 32 and a half minutes with Doug Jones, the anti-insurance insurance guy, originally from Oklahoma. No more. He's up in the high ground behind Cave Creek, Arizona. And I just thought I would let you guys know that I have to be careful in terms of how high I put his Fortress of Solitude, because every 1,000 feet that I raise it up, it drops usually about 5 degrees. So if I go too high, he's going to turn blue.
Well, plus the blood will come gushing out of my nose because it is the Nosebleed Mountains after all.
Yes, it is. Now, if you get it up really high and it's really cold and you got no oxygen, you're going to be in tough shape.
I'm going to be tough shape, but I know that next episode you'll bring me back down where things are a little bit nicer. You know,
Absolutely.
From that height, I can see beautiful Arizona laid out before me. So there is a payback.
Yes.
Anyway, thank you, Randy, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us today. I'm sure hoping that you come back and join us for our next episode very, very soon. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.